What is going on, everybody? This is Nazdarachi here, just doing a very quick intro for our 8th episode of the Dragon Ball Legends podcast. As always, audio check for us, chat. Let us know in the text chat how the audio is for not only me, but everybody else. And I'm going to go ahead and let Palm take the floor. He is our host for today.
Hey, welcome back, everybody. And welcome to Dragon Ball Legends podcast episode 8 on 59 Gaming. LOE revived, maybe? And again, as always, make sure that you follow us over on Twitter if you want to stay up to date with our videos, live streams, and all the other info. Join our public Discord. We have a Facebook page. We have a Reddit, and so much more. We also have a YouTube channel, of course. And if you want to support us here, you can do that for free. Twitch Prime is not a crime. Brad, I hope you're happy. And you can do that with your Amazon Prime for free. And before people ask, we will do a live stream on YouTube on Tuesday for video and stuff. That should be 8 a.m. Eastern, right? And with that, let's go over to our guests. So today we have Siki Narnar Bradical.
Hey, sorry.
We have the homie Goresh.
What's going on, guys?
We have our host and tech guy, Nazdarachi.
How's it going, everybody?
We have our sensei professor.
Hello.
We got SSJ3 Ryuden.
Ding dong. Hello.
And we have a first timer today. You might know him from Game Press. And ZVG, why don't you just tell us a few sentences about yourself for those who don't know you?
Hey everybody, it's ZVG here, Dragon Ball Legends content creator from Jamaica, and I'm also a Game Press writer, and it's a pleasure to be here on the podcast with the guys, and I hope I make a good first impression to you guys.
I absolutely love the fact that you're from Jamaica, starting off.
Same, bro.
It's like one of my favorite accents in the entire world, bro.
We get more international here, that's nice.
Yeah,
so,
more diversity.
Exactly. So today's topics.
I'm not going to be happy until you call Brad a bomba clot at least once.
Okay. We're going to talk about that in the break, I guess. So today's topics are obviously the Legends All-Stars banner, the missions, and the question, should you summon? Who should really summon on that? We got Metal Cooler. We got talk about SSJ Vegeta, Extreme Bojack. We have the Zenkai for Extreme Vegeta. Broly and Super Saiyan Goku's Zenkai revamp banners are back. We have the Sparking Super Scout battle and the Metal Cooler event before we're going to move over to questions. So our first topic today is the Legends All-Stars banner, Legends All-Stars 3. Prof, do you think that's worth it? And who should summon on that, if at all, in your opinion?
Well, I like the Vegeta personally. I guess we'll go into the kits in a bit. I think the only people that should be summoning on these banners are people that see themselves wanting to run LOE or, I guess Super Saiyans.
Movies.
Movies as well, if you can see that in the near future. They currently don't have any really supporting Zenkais, although they're going to be getting more. I guess they only really have Blue Broly. But, like I said, you got to be a fan. The units are actually pretty decent. If you get a hold of the Cooler, you get a few stars on him. And now that we have these missions, you can get reliably up to 6-star pretty quickly. I think he's actually a really decent unit. But they are going to fall short in the current meta due to the overpowering nature of the Saiyans and the Sun family right now.
Yeah, so like Prof said, they're not meta-defining units. They're welcomed additions to the teams that they would fit well on. I mean, for LOE, if you have Golden Frieza, the Green Cooler is great, but it's not like he replaces him. He's just a welcome addition there. For movies, if you have like Purple Bojack, maybe Trunks too, the purple transforming Trunks are still really good if you really want to run them there. So you can keep using them. But I don't know if anyone else shares the same sentiment. They're welcome additions, but not mandatory.
Yeah, I mean, I have a fun time with them for sure. Cooler looks super dope. His animations are fire.
Yeah, I think they're best right now.
They're definitely side grade units, meaning they are non-essential. And something else that you do have to mention for the budget and free-to-play community out there is you are probably better off saving / Zenkaiing units as opposed to chasing these two. Because unless you have the budget to at least summon them once and get them to like 6 or 7 stars, they're not going to be like notably competitive at like 2 or 3 stars when you're running up against teams that have a lot of like Zenkai units on them. So if you're a player that can afford to spend a lot and get them where they need to be in the red star territory, and you really like movies or LOE, then it might be worth your investment. Otherwise, I would just highly recommend saving for not only Black Friday, but a little bit better value from Zenkai units that may be more beneficial to you.
I don't
I
even
mean,
think
what
it's
you-
worth getting them to the Red Star territory. I think just
You've done that,
getting
right?
I think just getting the Zenkais and focusing on Zenkais is much better of a strategy for most players.
Yeah, that's the way to go right now for the game. I mean, it's sad, but it's the way it is right now. Just go for Zenkais, and if you find a unit that you really, really like, just go for them. That's basically how it is.
Well, you're gonna
Yeah.
have units like Goku Black. I would say he's the unit I've seen the last like 3 months. That I
Yeah.
would say he's almost essential for
I don't
his
even
teams.
think it's worth.
Yeah, he's the best non-Zenkai unit, to be fair. So
But other than that, yeah, I mean, just skip it. You got Black Friday coming up, bros. Like,
There will also be certain banners, like you just mentioned with like Goku Black. There will be certain brand new units that come out that are definitely standout units that are a cut above everything else. But when it comes to these all-star banners, generally they're going to be like additional options for teams that are already established or largely skippable units. Like there haven't been too many that are just straight up amazing, but every once in a while you will get that unit that does kind of defy the meta and stands well above everybody else. In that case, if it ends up being on a team you play a lot, that might be worth your summons. I just don't think that this banner is one of those.
Yeah, I mean, the Legends All-Stars is pretty much what UST used to be, so most of those units were not meta-defining or hype. And what you could still do is just do dailies, and if you pull one of the units, you can still decide to shell out the 2k crystals and, get those missions. Because you're then 100 Z power short of a 6-star unit, which you can easily get from co-op or some, the Sparking Metal shop. And you also get some additional resources on there. So, like, for example, I always like those missions because you don't just get the Z power for the unit, but you get, for example, green Sparking Z power 100. And if you instead then use the Z power 100 4-stars or above, then you have like a green Sparking Z power 100 left over for another unit. All right. So
okay. Sorry, I
Go
thought
for
somebody
it.
else was gonna jump in.
go
No,
for
you're
it.
totally good. You're 100% right. I mean, the missions are still fire. There's no disputing that at all. And if you choose to, you can get you said get cooler. What does he get to 5 stars with the actual
Yeah.
Z power they give you?
yeah,
Yeah, you need
And then you
100
could just
more.
save the extra ones that are just for the color. Maybe there's another unit you really want to invest in that could be better for you. And then you could focus back on cooler if you want to with your dual coins or whatever, or Vegeta. I mean, Vegeta's got a great Z ability. Both of them have crazy Z abilities. So
yeah.
there's options for that too, just for being a bench. But it's tough to tell you guys to summon for a bench unit. But that's hard to be like, yeah, jump in for that. Especially
Cooler
right
is one of the first units to have a double buff for the powerful opponent tag, to be honest. So if you guys want to run that team in the future, I'd suggest you probably go for him, but not really, since the team, we really don't know what direction they're going to go with the powerful opponent tag. Like, there's no indication that they want it to be a full-fledged team. So I don't know.
Well,
Go ahead.
when Powerful Opponent first came out, I was musing that I really wanted them to go this direction with the tag. I wanted to run, Perfect Cell next to Final Form Frieza next to Baby, And it looks like they might be going down that road and then having even more bonuses if you're the movie villains or maybe the Saiyan Saga villains. Who knows where they'll go with this? But I kind of hope they don't turn around. I want full on 6 out of 6 powerful opponent team to start taking over the meta. That sounds super cool.
Yeah, it'll be all bad guys, so it'll be that underdog team. When Toshi said he has a fondness for like the bad guys, I mean that tag is set up specifically for them. So I do expect it'll see a lot of play moving forward into the future.
Yeah, I think this is like the start of a tag or a Z ability format that's set up to like compete with Zenkai's. Because even though it's not better than Zenkai Z ability, obviously the Zenkai ability is like crazy good, but this is not better than that. It's like a way for newer units to have a Z ability that's like at least semi able to compete with how good Zenkai abilities are, right?
And then you couple it with the Zenkai ability.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely they're establishing a new tag for bad guys, and I don't know if the good guys will get the same love since they're already quite powerful, but I do expect them in the future to design other tags that are going to be similar to this in their functionality. I don't know what they are. I can't look in the crystal ball and predict the future, but I would expect that this is just like the first step of many more steps to come.
Fair enough. I mean, we're already talking a little bit about the Z abilities and the kits, so I think we can just move on to the metal cooler. And the question, is he what LOE needed? Is he what movies needed? Is he what regen needed? CVG? What do you think?
For LOE, I don't really think that he's what they needed because LOE is primarily an offensive tag with Zenkai 7 Final Form Cooler, LF Frieza, their support. The damage is already insane. And Cooler just adds more offense to that. I mean, his defense is really not that good. I mean, his stats are poor. And I actually wrote the Metal Cooler analysis on GamePress. And half of his uniques are about him getting hit. And in this meta, getting hit is not what you want on a unit right now because they're just going to get one comboed. I mean, LF Goku, SJ3 Goku, Falcon Kamehameha Gohan, they're all going to just one combo him. So that is a really big detriment to his value. So for LOE, I'm not really too sure if he's exactly what they needed. I think they needed someone who can tank hits like a FPF, a full power Frieza. So yeah, that's what I think. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, the first thing I said when I looked at his kit was like, okay, what I don't want to see is I don't want to see him like have like 20% damage reduction, and that's exactly what he has, because it doesn't do anything. It doesn't accomplish anything in this meta right now, where like units are just one comboing everything else. So 20% damage reduction is not really going to accomplish anything. So it's just sort of like a dead ability that he has.
Well,
yeah, it makes him live through maybe like one more arts card, and that's it.
Yeah, that really does help it.
So, Prof, you wanted to say?
Yeah, I was about to say we're also getting like units like Goten and just units that are frankly just have it built into all their attacks that just ignore sustained damage cut anyway. So yeah, I'm with Goresh. Right when I read that line, I just kind of rolled my eyes. I was like, that's gonna do a total of nothing versus Goku.
I hate these units that are like, they try to be defensive, but they're also offensive at the same time, because whenever they sort of mix and match these things, it never works out well because they can do multiple things, but they can't do one thing really well. You know what I'm saying? I'd rather than just make him like purely like ridiculously offensive, rather than trying to do like a little bit of defense and make him good offensively, but not great.
No, straight up. Yeah, I agree with that 100%. Like any kind of game you play, you could even compare down to something like Pokemon. Doesn't even matter. If you have a unit or a character that's like really offensive, they don't need to take a hit. That's not their goal. Like they're not trying to last on the field. So Cooler does fall in that weird spot. I just think Vegeta's not a very good defense unit. I haven't used Vegeta, but I've seen him though. He's just not what Super Saiyans really needed, at least in my opinion. But I don't know. I hate talking down on them because they are fun units and they're actually balanced really well. Just not with Zenkai's. Like
on the topic of movies for Metal Cooler, I think he's the best green for movies right now. To be honest, I mean, easy. Resurrection of Cooler Goku is not really, because he needs to get hit as well for him to get his damage. So both of the greens need to get hit. I just think that Cooler provides more on the offensive side for movies right now.
Yeah, that's probably the biggest thing. I'm personally not a fan of units that need that either. I don't understand why they do it, but the whole like, my hope is that they understand the meta. Like one strike card probably folds Metal Cooler by Purple Super Saiyan 3 Goku. It's brutal. And then, I mean, because you can't take a hit, you're going to be prone to switching out to somebody else. And then, I mean, this meta of units that come in, they draw a card or gain key and basically one combo everyone. That next unit you swapped into that you were sort of forced to is probably dead too, and now you're stuck. You got this Cooler that didn't get his full buffs because he couldn't take 3 hits and is not going to be dealing a ton of damage. I don't know. It doesn't sit well with the current meta. It doesn't make sense. Units that need to take hits in order to do damage, it doesn't make sense.
They tried it with Ray Chunks and it worked for a while until like, FSK came in, and then from there it just went downhill. Like SJ3 Goku can actually like deal some big damage to Ray Chunks. It's crazy how the damage just skyrocketed in the past few months. Those units won't work.
It's because they realized how big of a mistake they made with Gohan that they're like, oh damn, now we got to compensate with everything else we release now.
It just doesn't make any sense for me to see. Well, like you said, that maybe it is them trying to compensate and try to put some semblance of balance, but I really don't like it when they release new units that have some cripple, some artificial cripple to make them good, when there are all these other units that just show up and they're at like full power and they just destroy everybody. It doesn't make any sense to me. I don't like it at all. There's a lot of units like, oh, we're going to time gate his passives, or oh, we're not going to let him do this, or he needs to take a couple hits, or this timer counts. You're like, why? There are so many other units that just show up and dead.
I really think they need to figure out a way how to make defensive units that actually feel like defensive, because
it makes it really hard because they've included all these other units in the game that are just like, oh, ignore 100% of this unit's cover cut.
Yeah,
so, that is so self-defeating. Like, that makes defensive units almost completely useless unless they're like Fat Boo, where they just get the health back, or they just have such an overwhelming amount of defense that it doesn't really matter.
Or they could just make a unique where it just doesn't get removed, like an uncancelable cover change or something like that.
Yeah, that's basically what they had to do to make that new cell good. Like, they had to make his endurance unnullifiable and give him all his health back. Like, that's the only way endurance is super effective in the meta nowadays, because on every single team you have a top meta unit that just says nullify endurance in their kit. So it's like they created a mechanic and then they invalidated it, but now that's how they resurrected it.
What's funny is there are extreme units that have better defensive capabilities than these so-called defensive units. Like EX Gogeta, 70% sustained damage cut? Even if it is once, that's enough. Just let him tank one combo kind of thing.
Yeah. You can play around that and use that in your toolkit to your advantage. As
EX Gogeta, EX Android 13. I think Videl has something similar too. Like, they have like these massive sustained damage cut passives, and then it's like, those are EX units intended to be offensive, and then the defensive sparkings don't do their job well. What is this?
We're gonna
on topic of EX Gogeta, I was watching Puff stream the other day where he just like one comboed EX Gogeta through the 70% cover with Gohan. I was like, okay, this is
madness.
This is insane, dude. Like, it's so crazy how the damage just skyrocketed. Like,
yeah, we're going to talk about Vegeta later, but I just want to quickly mention my thoughts on this real quick. I actually do think that the Vegeta and the Cooler are like well balanced. The only problem is you can't be a well balanced unit in this meta and expect to see play just because of Zenkais. Yeah. Like, Zenkais completely broke what we consider to be balanced. And I think in terms of the non-Zenkai units that are in the game right now, like Metal Cooler and this Vegeta are fine. Like they're well balanced. But then when you consider like Super Saiyan 3 Goku 18, like the LF Gohan, the Goku, like you can't use these units because they're just going to get destroyed. So I think they did do a good job of balancing them when you consider the non-Zenkai units. But then when you consider the Zenkai units, like nothing is even like they're not usable. So
that's full circle with what I mentioned last week, where they created the Zenkai system to get rid of them being obligated to do the free updates so they could make money off updating the characters, but now it's turning around and biting them in the ass because it's causing even more problems than what them just doing the regular balance adjustments in the first place would have. Like, it's altering people's spending habits on the game because people are legitimately questioning whether even summoning on new banners like this are even worth it when Zenkai units are a thing. That I can't believe that that's not affecting their bottom line in some way, and that it's very counterproductive.
Well, I guess as long as they get them to spend their chronos, they don't care where they spend them, huh?
Yes and no. Like,
yeah, long run, of course.
Yeah, with the free-to-play community, they could still make money off of some of the dolphins and the lower spenders on the gacha RNG mechanics, but now if just nobody spends when they put out new banners, like, because everyone's just saving for the guaranteed value that Zenkai, I mean, that's going to bring up some problems for them.
I mean, my worry is that they're going to release like some really, really cool Black Friday and Christmas units, and they're just not going to be good enough.
Or they'll be good for like a month until the next Zenkai just power creeps again.
Yeah.
Can you imagine they release like Gogeta Blue and then they Zenkai the Blue Gogeta and he's better?
Or they Zenkai like Bunny Bulma and she's better than him? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, maybe I'm being too optimistic, but I think that we saw Super Kaioken Goku came out, and we were like, oh, this green unit during the Vegeta Blue meta, he's our savior, and we all know how that story ends, right? But now he's one of the best picks for the Sun Family team due to future units that came out after him. I think that we might see a similar situation with this Cooler and Vegeta when they flesh out the tag. Hopefully, at least I'm trying to be optimistic here that they'll do that. And I know you guys are saying, "Oh, Black Friday units," but like I'm a Metal Cooler fan, so seeing him with this really nifty kit, in my opinion, was I don't know. If I wasn't a hybrid main, I'd be summoning on this banner. That's all I'm saying.
Well,
I think
yeah,
his biggest value is his Z ability, to be honest. Like,
Yeah, I'm a Metal Cooler fan too, right? And
Really?
it's hard. If somebody asks me should I summon, my answer is no on this banner.
yeah, for free to plays, like just wait for Black Friday, wait for Christmas, because they're gonna be more hype units than Cooler and Vegeta. Like we all know that already. So just save your Chrono Crystals.
Well, when I say like, if I was going to something like, my second team before I just went full pedal to the metal hybrids was Movie Saga, and I ran Broly. So this would have been a super interesting unit to me that summons for one team. That's all I was saying, is that maybe if you're a Movies main or an LOE main or whatever, and you're looking at this character, that you can still be optimistic that they could shine further.
Potentially. All right. I think we can talk about the second sparking unit that came with this banner, since Goresh already started on it. But yeah, so the SSJ Purple Vegeta. Which team would you run him on? Do you think he's replacing anything anywhere, Ryuden?
So for me, I like the Vegeta. It feels like a jack of all trades unit. I think he's the second Saiyan ever to do double defenses, so there's a lot of value in his ability. The first non-LF to do double defenses. It almost feels like he was made more for like Super Saiyans than he was for movies, just because he's now that little edge that can defend Bardock. He's the little bit of defenses that they really needed for the tag, because they're kind of glass cannon-y. Yeah, I think he's a great unit. I think he's good. I like him. Not meta defining in any way, but a welcome addition for Super Saiyans, because they needed a purple. I don't know if anyone else feels the same way.
I think if you're trying to craft the most ridiculous Bardock team possible right now with blue, blue, purple, he would be your purple choice. You can run him with the Scouter Vegeta and Super Saiyan 3 Goku on bench and make him pretty redonkulous. But that is min-maxing at its very end of the road. So yeah, I agree. He's more of a Super Saiyan unit than a movie unit at the moment, in my opinion.
But do you guys think that he replaces Bojack on movies?
I feel like Bojack's little cover rescue thing, in terms of like this meta is like everyone you lose priority once you probably lost somebody. Bojack's little cover rescue is so valuable. It adds that little extra pressure where your opponent, maybe they do a drop combo and you catch him off guard or that kind of thing. I think that right there is enough value to justify Bojack over the Vegeta. I don't think he replaces him. I think he's just a welcome addition to it. If you didn't have Bojack, there's no harm in having this Vegeta if you needed a purple Movie Saga unit.
I think Vegeta just bench for movies, and then Bojack is who you want to use, because we talk about the defensive units in the game right now that no one can actually defend. Like, Bojack is one of the few units that can actually like defend if you're able to pull off this cover change and your opponent can drop combo you.
Bojack and the new Red Cell are the two best defensive units in the game, ironically.
Squishy as hell, and yet better than the alleged tanks, huh?
Because he has two lives, bro.
Yeah, but even Bojack is such a glass cannon that you can, with the yellow, you can still kill him in 2 or 3 cards. But it's just, when you bring him in, and that's the whole thing. It's always annoying me, and I'm always happy when I get rid of those cover change units first, just because of how annoying it is to think about, will he or won't he switch right now?
See, that added pressure is what's sort of adds value to them, because your opponent will always be like, it's the second one. And then if you didn't intend on swapping at all, it's like, all right, good. I put a dead stop to their combo, which is pretty much one comboing everyone now. So it's really good. I like that. That's what I like about Bojack.
If I can tell what Ryuden's saying, Bojack does have one of the best covers in the game, and it doesn't have to just be a chance mechanic. There is a window when your opponent activates and commits to the card when they're at point blank, where you can see if it's a blast or strike or whatever. And you can just wait for them to do drop combos on you. And Bojack has that little mental game that no other unit really gives right now. I mean, I guess maybe God Vegeta, but everybody else is like, strike or blast defense. So yeah, Bojack, at least for the movie sagas, I would say does not get replaced at the moment.
No, his super low defenses are offset, like everyone mentioned, by that ridiculously good cover ability. But this Vegeta still is an acceptable side grade. Like, He makes up in some areas where the Bojack doesn't, but it's still more high risk because unless you have him like super like red starred and good Z ability synergy, like he could just get killed by a Rising Rush. So
he does have some support stuff too. Like Goresh was saying, like these jack of all trade units that are sort of like not really good at everything, they're kind of just okay at everything. He falls in line with that. So I don't know. He's also a little bit of a support unit, a little bit of a tank, can do a little bit of damage too. He's not like wow, meta defining, exceptional, mandatory, but he's just like he's cool.
Yeah,
nice to see you, Vegeta.
I think his green card's actually really good. It heals him and it buffs the entire team. It's pretty good.
Mm-hmm. Which is good for movies. They have a lot of units that get green cards pretty easy, so it's nice to have.
Can I just say that he has one of my favorite ultimates in the game right now?
Oh yeah, it's one of the best looking ones too.
Thanks for the bits,
I was just saying, just on style, not even on what it did. I love the animation. I think it looks so cool.
I think both of them are pretty good.
Yeah, they really went out on these units. Like the animations are so good, like crazy how good they are.
All right. So I think that's probably everything that we have to say about this unit. But there's another unit that came with this, which is the Extreme Bojack. And earlier I read that Goresh, you have some pretty strong opinions about him.
I mean, I haven't even used him, but I just taking a look at his kit, he seems pretty bad. So
yeah, he seems like a 2018 unit, to be honest. Like, his kit seems unfinished.
Yeah. I don't know what they were thinking.
I think they were just banking on his main being so busted that it was going to make up, but the rest of him is like dog crap. So,
well, I mean, if his main ability hit the entire enemy team, this unit would be fantastic.
Oh, that'd be different. Yeah, of course.
If it said hit all enemies, then sure, I would Bojack. But no, this is something you just kind of okay, you just go to your next unit.
For it to be super useful like that, you have to save it until they're down to their last unit.
Yeah,
it feels like they've been going backwards with these EX units recently. Like a lot of the ones we've gotten recently are just not great.
Yeah,
and we used to be getting ones that were like really good.
Has anyone even used or went up against EX Bojack in PvP?
I don't think anybody even told it. We've all been saying stay away from the banner, don't bother summoning because Black Fridays are around the corner, and I mean it's bad enough that EX rates are abysmally low. So I don't even think I never had the fortune of pulling him. I think Rash, you're the only one actually. Oh no, Palm, you said 2, right? You guys got lucky enough to pull him. I did it. I don't think not many people got lucky to pull him.
The only saving grace is his Z ability.
Yeah, it's a pretty good bench for powerful opponent because it's got that ore in here.
Him and Cooler.
So I got him at 2 stars, and he is leveled up, but I don't think I haven't even soul boosted him. So there's that.
I definitely think he's supposed to be relegated to the bench to make the powerful opponent team possible.
Yeah, he has to be.
He has to be designated bench warmer. This guy.
You can play a super fun all Bojack team. Come on.
Am I the only one that think his eyes look funny?
They look crazy.
Yeah, he looks angry.
I don't know. He just looks like I don't know. It's like they got their genre wrong. Like a different cartoon artist just took over halfway and just finished the face. I don't know.
Yep, the eyes look like a total different style, right?
He just looks way too happy.
I was actually hoping that his Z ability was going to start, capturing the other type buffers. Like, you know how Broly's like yellow and blue. I was hoping that they're going to explore some of the other ones. I was hoping he was going to be green, yellow, like a green, yellow buffer, or like just something different. Explore the other ones. We already did yellow, blue, purple, red, red, green. It'd be great if we dived on the other ones too. But I feel like they're hesitant. They're probably worried about the overlap.
I wanted that too. Green, yellow doesn't have a single EX buffer at all, so that'd be cool.
Yeah, I don't think they're gonna. I feel like they're too scared of the overlap. It's one of those things where it must have been like, oh, this is a great idea. Let's try to push type teams, and then with the Zenkais and this, they're like, crap.
They're too scared. They're too scared of that, and then they release like 18 Super Saiyan 3 Goku. I love Gohan. Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's just like an emotional trip for them.
All right. So since nobody has used him, I guess there's not much of showcases going around. We can't really say anything about how he plays out, but his kit looks eh. So do his eyes. The next topic is we also got the Zenkai for Extreme Vegeta. And I think, Brad, you Zenkai'd him to at least to, what, 3 or...
Yeah, I got him to 3. And I used actually the team today when I was playing some PvP. And, like, I mean, I like it. There's no doubting it's a decent team offensively. It's got nothing else besides offense. That's it. And they're split so hard down the middle. Like, Nappa only hits Strike. Raditz only hits Blast. Like, that's the only problem I have with that. Now, his Z ability is a whole different thing. Because if we're talking about, he gives both defenses naturally on his Z ability. And then his EX gives both attacks. Or his Zenkai gives both attacks. So any extreme yellow unit you're putting there, Broly, you could totally get like an actual Zenkai buff for him. That's fantastic. And a lot of extreme units actually have that. Like Red Krillin gives you both defenses, so they give him both attacks. They may want to swap it with something like, because like I think of like Green Yamcha. I don't think Yamcha and Krillin are going to get Zenkais anytime soon. But if they were to, he has both attacks, so it'd be kind of weird that way. But I like that. It's cool. It's a fun team for free. It's just it feels very free. How's that? It feels like a free team when you actually use it. When you jump from using like Future to using that, it's like, am I still playing the same game? Like, there's just not much going on. But Nappa's really good. I like Nappa a lot. I learned I like Nappa way more than I like Raditz after using that video today. Like, good.
You know what? Well, I guess it's still related. It would have been nice if they reduced the cost for Zenkai in these extremes, just because, I mean, paired alongside the Sparkings and stuff. Like, if this is intended for like a free player that has to throw quite a bit of skip tickets and energy tickets just to Zenkai the unit, at least have some like saving grace and some of the resources for it, because it's still kind of expensive if you ask me.
Well, the skill boosting isn't bad, but yeah, the actual getting the unit Z power is a pain in the butt.
Well, it's not meant to be done immediately because these events are permanently available and they have certain stages. Yeah, they're
Raditz is still there, isn't he?
Yeah, they're
okay.
permanent.
I apologize. I must have missed that detail.
Yeah, it's supposed to be over like a month or something, and you just get the free one every day, and you just run it that way. I mean, that would give you enough Z power pretty quick.
Yeah, it's just for us who want to make videos and stuff. It's like, well, this sucks.
Yeah, it's just, and I mean, I don't want them to have crazy stuff, but give me a little bit of card draw speed. Give me something a little bit more than just, hey, Nappa hits you really hard with his fist. You know, it's like, that's cool, but it just doesn't do the full job. But they're also only half a team right now of full Zenkais. Once we get a full Zenkai Extreme team, we could be talking a little bit then actually have cover options or color options more than anything, and not just Frieza Force. We could be talking about some stuff then.
It'd be great if they also updated Z abilities, because if this Vegeta, if he got Saiyans and Yellow, I think he would be way more viable. If you ask me, I think people would look at it more seriously.
I think Frieza Force and Yellow would have been fine. I don't want Saiyans getting in. We don't need more buffs.
Yeah, Saiyan. Well, I just mean like in general, if they updated the Z ability,
just give me another one.
These are just single types.
Frieza Force and Yellow would have been great for that EX second form.
That
Frieza
would have been really cool. Like, that's true too. I mean, Frieza probably should get Frieza Force buffers, but if we're talking about the team you're running him on right now, you're running him on Frieza Force pretty much with your backup bench. You could put Saiyans there, but
I think this guy being Yellow is actually a pretty big deal because I think easily right now Yellow is the weakest typing in the game. So like this is a pretty good option for free-to-play players for a Yellow, like a solid Yellow unit. I wouldn't say he's spectacular, but like he's solid. I have him at Zenkai 7. He's done for me. Like he's better than most Sparkings in the game, I would say. Obviously, most Sparkings in the game are bad, but
yeah, I was gonna say like 80% of the game's kind of dog crap. But
I mean, for free, he's good. I would definitely recommend doing that stage every day, just to slowly work your way up to getting him.
Oh, do it, yeah, no, for sure. A free Zenkai unit's a free Zenkai unit. Do it, absolutely.
That EX Yellow equip must help out quite a bit too. I mean, pair that with his Zenkai stats, probably does do some decent damage. I didn't do it because I don't have the resources for this whole thing. There's just so much.
Do you guys have enough energy to do these events? Like, where are y'all getting the energy from? Like, I have no energy.
Goresh does by doing what do you redeem every single day? The maximum energy.
Well, no, I gotta buy the 50 energy pack every day.
Oh, well, that too.
Yeah, I have unlimited energy. I just don't have skip tickets.
I call hacks.
How do you get unlimited energy, bro? I run out so often.
He doesn't play PvE at all.
That's
I'm
true.
always out of skip tickets, and I'm sitting there just like, well, gee, like I couldn't get the LF material. I got like 21 or 22 of those stupid pumpkins,
Oh,
and
that
I'm just looking
sucks.
at an hour left, and then like I coughed up $7.99 to buy some skip tickets. I'm like, surely, and then not a single freaking pumpkin dropped. I'm like, well, then.
Damn, bro, that sucks. That sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But hey, one thing. Sorry, go ahead, Prof.
I just was saying, yeah.
You could have always run the stage manually, bro.
Yeah,
No.
there you go. Just
No
run it a couple
way.
hundred times manually, dude. You're good.
Easy
You
peasy.
got this.
But one thing that I just also realized, probably people realized that earlier, but I remember, you remember how people were comparing Zenkais to Easy A's and Dokkan, where Easy A's give you like 30 stones, which is 60% of a multi, and make a unit viable again, blah blah blah, and saying, hey, Legends is actually taking your money. I'm guessing the Extreme Zenkais is kind of the opposite, so they're kind of similar, as in they take a unit, they make it better, and not overpowered, as we are just discussing, and you actually get a full multi, right? While in Dokkan you get not a full multi. So I think that the Extreme Zenkais in that respect are pretty good. The only thing
There's
is
no
that
doubting that they're free and they're a Zenkai. There's no doubting it's a good idea. They just feel like a free Zenkai.
yeah,
to me
the
at
only thing is that it takes you much longer because on Dokkan you don't pay energy to do the easy A's, and on Legends, I mean, we've been there in the Souls. Souls are just
Yeah,
crazy.
it can get kind of painful, that's for sure.
Right. All right. So after we talk about this, we also got the banner revamps for Zenkai Broly and the Zenkai Super Saiyan Goku. I mean, I don't know if there's that much to talk about. We've seen some showcases, and now the banners cost you 7,000 Chronos. If you want to, if you want to max them, you should only pay 6,000 because you should be able to still do the missions. Has anybody made use of that, and are those units still worth it in your opinion?
The Zenkai,
No, go ahead.
the Zenkai Goku is not worth it at all. Like, he is not worth the 6,000 Chrono Crystals. I'm telling you right now. Like, his buffs are cancelable. His last man standing buffs are 15 timer count. So it's like, why even use him really? Unless you want to run a Super Saiyan team with Bardock, that's probably it. But like, in the grand scheme of things, like, he is not worth it at all.
No, he was the first Zenkai and undoubtedly the weakest we've got. He was also like the first character in the game, right? So he was like a demo or test unit for a lot of different things. Like one of the first units ever to release in the game, along with the the other 4 or 5 on that first banner, and then now the first Zenkai. So definitely not worth it. I mean, maybe Zenkai 1 just to get a little bit of bench ability out of him, but you're not gonna ideally use him in play unless you're a content creator who's just trolling around with different teams, right? Like, otherwise, there's no reason to prioritize this unit at all.
I think you're better off spending your crystals refreshing your energy 700 times.
Kind of true. It's really sad, but it's kind of true.
Wait, am I alone here in thinking that he's great for just being a bench unit? Like, if you're Saiyan main?
We're gonna get another Red Saiyan buffer. I mean, you can rock that, but Z3 cap. I wouldn't go to 7 for him.
I think the Broly is actually pretty good for movies, to be honest. I mean, I'm pretty sure he's the best blue unit for movies right now. I'm pretty sure that he is. And his kit isn't all that bad. I mean, I think you didn't showcase him or something the other day, and he wasn't bad at all.
Me and Goresh, yeah, because he and I were both waiting a long time for it to come back because we were really hoping for it. We both like Broly quite a bit.
Yeah, I loved Broly Z7. It's just most people didn't ever summon for him, and now he has the Namek Goku buff and the Bardock buff, so you can triple Z buff this man.
Yeah.
You guys were talking about units that get one comboed. If you guys are interested in running mono blue Saiyans, you cannot kill those units in one hit. It just doesn't happen.
Yeah, I faced in the cooler video. I actually faced one of those. It was Bardock, Namek Goku, this Broly, and a bunch of blue purple buffers on the bench, and yeah, it took quite a while. I mean, Cooler was still taking a while. Like, granted, yes, Cooler is not the most hardest hitting unit in the world, but he has a passive against Super Saiyans and type advantage, and they were taking quite a long time to take down. So it is a mono blue Super Saiyans team is pretty scary.
We actually caught that video. I played that on the podcast earlier. It was in the background.
They were there. You guys, everyone in the chat probably saw that match. Yeah, it took a while to take him down. Even with type advantage, they were just eating it all up.
I mean, Broly has a constant feint, so like, feint is so dumb, but he just abuses it with his with his kit.
You
That's
can.
his biggest strength, I think, is this. He has feints with his blue card, and he has feints with his ult.
Yeah, he does a good job getting feints. The only thing I don't like is his green card. It has such a stupidly high cost to it, and people pointed out that it looked like he was glitched, but he was the first version of Blast Armor. I don't know if you guys caught that, but I used one of his green cards, and I get hit by blast cards, but I don't take any damage. Broly kind of just walks through it.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure that was their first run at blast armor, and then the next time they did it, that's when they show a shield taking hits and it just bouncing off of it.
Yeah. Does this green card still cost 34 key?
Yeah, but you get 60 back. I don't know if they assume that that's enough to justify for it, but it's like, dude, this is so situational.
Yeah. My only thing I don't like about this Broly is he has no way of gaining key when he's on the field. Most characters like get key when you swap in. They will get key immediately on green cards, something of that nature. I can't even main ability to pop his ultimate. Like you can't lead a blast card into this Broly. That's his shortcoming. If he had key on main, he'd be a 2021 unit ready to wreck.
That's the only thing I wish. Yeah, that's the only thing I wish for.
Well,
Just his main ability to have key.
There's 3 things that he doesn't have that I feel like he might get if he was released nowadays. One is some form of key recovery on his main ability.
Card draw
Number
speed.
2 is number 2 is card draw speed, and then number 3 is blast armor as ult.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's one of my favorite things about the new cooler is that he can do it. I think it's on his green and his main ability. Yeah. No, and that is such an amazing setup. Like just feeling out your opponent, swapping in main ability and running right through it, or just sitting at like point blank, seeing that they're doing a blast, and you just pop it and go.
Yeah, that's so important for mid-range game.
No, I think this Broly though, like we were talking about, this guy right now, despite not having the ability to give key, his raw strike damage, if you're running him with Bardock, is just off the charts. This unit, it hits as hard as Super Saiyan 3 Goku right now if you prep him.
Yeah, it's pretty good. He aged decently well. I still like using it just because it's Broly. He's just funny.
I do think there is something to note of how old he actually is, and how long ago he got his Zenkai. Like that does show that Zenkais can go the distance. It's just, we've talked about it a million times how they've gone about it, getting Zenkais and stuff like that. That's kind of the issue. But definitely there is something to say about how old he genuinely is of a unit, and how decent he is as a Zenkai. I don't know. Goku just didn't get that treatment, but.
That just makes me excited for when Yellow Perfect Cell gets a Zenkai.
Oof, yeah.
Put Black on the bench.
I mean, actually, I will 100% Z7 Cell if he gets his.
Yeah, dude, he held his value longer than any other standard
He's
banner
still
unit.
not horrific. Like, there's worse units you can use for sure than Yellow Cell.
I'm scared of any unit with that perfect cover rescue getting a Zenkai. That's why I don't like it when people say, "Oh, we want instant transmission Goku to get one too."
No,
like,
No,
you don't.
Please,
They don't
no.
understand. Like I don't know. I see it all the time, and I keep saying, "No, I don't think you understand what you're asking for."
They think-
you want Pandora's box here.
They think Vegeta Blue was annoying. That would literally kill the game if they did
Yes,
that.
it would. It would kill the game
Imagine-
100%.
He's a transmission Goku with LF Goku, bro. Like you would never be able to attack. Like
The instant transmission Goku, he counters everything, and he has feint.
Yeah,
Why would
feint is
anyone
the
want
dumb
that to get a
part.
Zenkai?
Yeah.
That is terrible.
I kind of
But
want to
yeah,
see it
Goku.
just so that I can watch
Again,
the
he gets
game
another save
self-destruct.
too. He gets 2 saves. That's what's nuts.
Yeah, that's why I said I kind of want to see it just so I can watch the game implode.
You think they're gonna add units with abilities that kind of how Vegeta Blue cannot be countered with his ultimate, to where if Namegoku's on the field, okay, well I know this blue card is supreme, it goes through no matter what, and in fact if you try countering it, it just means critical damage or whatever. You guys feel like that's coming, or that's just a step too far?
I feel like that's something they would eventually have to do if it became a huge
Yeah.
problem. Like Vegeta Blue doing that, and I think Majin Vegeta does as well. That's cool. It's clear that they did it because they knew it was a problem. I just hope it doesn't get to that point. I don't want it to. It's like, oh, you counter counters. Counters are such a problem. We're introducing a counter to the counter. No, don't get to that point.
And then introduce a counter to the counter, and it just
Yeah,
never stops.
and then that's when you go down the rabbit hole.
You guys saying
It's gonna happen.
you don't want a counter move for tap attacks?
Hey, Nanakuba.
No problem. No, like it's gonna happen eventually. Like think about it, right? Maybe not right now, but as the game progresses, like it's gonna have to get bigger and better. And through doing that, like some wild crap is gonna happen. Like for example, the counter to the counter, right? So
I thought you were talking about instant transmission Goku. I was like, no, I hope I hope they set up all characters to get one, but he has his own special forbidden, and they're not allowed to touch him.
they're gonna make something like that too. But something tell me like for an ability that prominent, if you will, they're probably gonna save that for like another unit. You know what I mean? Like, granted,
Goku?
I mean, I really do think that if they're gonna do something instant transmission Goku, they really need to buff him like bad. But yeah, if they're gonna give him something or give a character something that prominent, it's gonna be like a new character or like a super hype character or something like that.
Yeah, we'll see about that, huh? I mean, I guess we could speculate a little bit also at the end if we still have time about video and stuff. We still have two relatively small topics before that. We got the Sparking Super Scout Battle and the Metal Cooler event that they just released. And I guess, Nas, you wanted to jump in about the Super Scout Battle, right?
Okay, the Sparking Super Scout battle is just very interesting because, I mean, we've seen this before with the EX units. I've generally skipped it every time because it hasn't been very valuable. Likewise for this, I don't see too much priority in actually doing it for me because I have most of these units well into the red stars and beyond. I mean, it's amazing for new players, first and foremost. But the more intriguing thing that I wanted to point out is this could be somewhat of a window into our future possible Zenkai units. And again, none of us know what they're going to do in here 100%. But just going based off of, they're giving the Z power away for free, this could just be a step to help facilitate the lower budget free-to-play players for these specific units should they be Zenkai anytime soon. And there's some definite high-value units on here that you want to keep your eyes on in case they do possibly Zenkai. Namely, the Yellow Perfect Cell we talked about earlier, Buhan were both fantastic units that have just been kind of power crept by Zenkai units on their current meta versions of their team builds. You have the Golden Frieza, potentially the Red Metal Cooler. He was a pretty good defensive unit and a very good utility unit. So Golden Frieza especially would be amazing for LOE if he got a Zenkai. And then you have the Green Bardock especially. Now both of these other Saiyans, Kaioken Goku and the GT Super Saiyan Kid Goku, would likely be pretty good as well. But Bardock would be the first character, I do believe, that would Zenkai with a 10-second lock, which I think would be pretty impactful on the meta based on how relevant Saiyans are anyway. So if this event is any type of window into the future as to what Zenkai units we may be looking at soon-ish, like, within the next 6 months or so, then it's definitely just good to start planning resources around that, potentially doing this event to get them to the point where they can Zenkai. But you can also allot Super Souls for their specific colors if you haven't been doing that already. Kind of get teams together. Again, we don't know 100% that these units are going to Zenkai, but 2 out of the 9 already are, Fat Boo and Cooler. And I don't know, I think it could be good to just be aware that this unit exists with these specific units in case they do plan to Zenkai them soon. Of course, nothing's guaranteed, but these would be some great units to Zenkai. That's my opinions on that. I don't know if Garesh has anything he wants to throw in with the LOE units being on here and how they could affect LOE and whatnot if they got a Zenkai. But
yeah, I mean, if you take a look at like all the units as like a whole here, I think the most valuable units are Fat Boo and the Final Form Cooler, obviously because we know that they're already Zenkai'd. So if you have a plan to Zenkai both of them, or you maybe already have them Zenkai'd, then getting some extra Z power for them is always a viable option. But yeah, like you said, take a look and see what you guys think are potential Zenkais for the future. Again, I've been lobbying for the Green Golden Frieza to potentially get one, but who knows? Regen, I don't really know if like any of those guys are going to get one anytime soon because Regen is in a decent spot. It's not great, but Yellow Cell, again, he aged well, but he needs some help. The Buhan, again, he aged decently well, but he needs some help as well.
Buhan Zenkai, please.
Yeah,
That would
it'll
also
happen
be,
at some point.
yeah, that would be. We haven't
Zenkai,
seen
please.
any of the year 1 anniversary units get a Zenkai yet, so we're still waiting to see who the first one is going to be.
Please
Yeah.
be Buhan. Please be
What a
Buhan.
surprise, CVG. What a surprise to hear that from you.
Please, I miss my boy, man.
I mean,
I
he's
need to-
stupid good. Just the comboable bubble shield, and just his stats and passes. He was amazing character when he was in his
One
his
unit
prime.
challenge. He's
What
the
I-
one that made it possible.
What I will say is, I think the most valuable one of these stages for the average player is definitely the Saiyan one, just because the blue Kaioken Goku still to this day has one of the best Z abilities in the game.
Yeah, his bench for Son family and Saiyans. Or
It's-
Son
well, Son
Blue
family and
units.
Blue
Blue.
and Sun Family.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Blue and
Yeah.
Son. He's one of your best Son family bench.
What is
in
it?
the game.
33% strike, attack, and defense or something? It's pretty high as well for
Yeah.
such an old unit.
Well, I mean, if he gets a Zenkai in the future, that's going to be one of the most fun units to run.
And then, of course, GT doesn't have any Zenkais at all yet, so this could be indicative. This Goku that's on screen, the Super Saiyan 1 GT Goku, would be a first for GT. So it's also a realistic potential option there, too. So
Not that I want to fight Bardock's lock, but I feel like he would be the better choice because he'd be buffing all the green Saiyans in the game.
yeah, Bardock would. That's what I said when I first mentioned it. Out of all these units listed here, I think he would impact the meta the most because we don't see a relevant Zenkai unit that has the 10-second lock right now. And prior to all the insane like year 2 units and stuff, those 10-second lock-ins were some of the most defining gameplay mechanics the game had, because it prevents them from swapping out, which guarantees damage on target. If you kill that unit fast enough, then their second unit still suffers the remaining time on the lock-in. So you could exploit that and just do some pretty ridiculous stuff. Just lock someone in, Super Saiyan 2 Gohan comes out, kills their whole team, and they can't even swap to protect themselves. It's going to be probably a little toxic and cancerous, but again, like Indakuba mentioned, every single character in the game is going to get a Zenkai sooner or later. So it's better to probably be a little bit proactive and try and plan for it, as opposed to just being like, don't do it, it'll ruin the game. Like, it's going to happen sooner or later. Like, we just got to accept it, right? And hope that they balance it fairly well. So, but yeah,
All right.
hopefully this is a window into the future about possible Zenkais. Otherwise, I think it's just a really good event for free-to-play players.
Exactly. And speaking of an event for free-to-play players, we also got the Metal Cooler event. It's another 50 or 51 battles event that gives you 1,000 chronos. So I don't know, Nas, do you have the feeling they've been generous with us lately, or? is it just me?
I think this format of getting a title and 1,000 chrono crystals is extremely boring. I liked the way they did the cooler rework, where it only went through stage like 30, right? Instead of all this 51 stuff. Because again, it's just really annoying to slog through the first 40 battles as like a late stage player. With that being said, I think the most interesting thing to talk about this event is the widespread glitch that's been happening with it, where even if you have energy, it tells you that you don't have enough energy to do the event. I've been seeing people posting about that like incessantly on Twitter and Facebook, and we've just had to try and like do like pinned posts to explain to people that it's a known glitch. So if you didn't know about that already, I'm sure the developers are already aware of it. But yeah, it's like the game is adding more time gates through glitches, not just the straight up time gates. But outside of that, if you can suffer through the boredom of doing these events, they're great for some free resources. I do wish that they would reformat them, though, with some of the long-term players in mind. But outside of that, like, PvE is mad boring in this game, but I don't know. It's free stuff, so it's like a double-edged sword.
I actually wanted to say, so when it comes down to this event, right, we've been getting a lot of events where it's, stages 1 through 50, right, or 51. But I think it's safe to say that, yeah, like doing that format is getting kind of old because it's just kind of dragging it on. We did have I believe it was the deathmatch on Namek, which was 1 through 30, which I liked a bit more because obviously it was shorter, but still offered, I guess the quote unquote same level of difficulty as like the stage 1 through 50. And I will say that one thing I personally like about this new event is the fact that for every 5th stage, it's a co-op battle instead of it just being like, just fighting the same character over and over again by yourself. I think they're trying to revamp it somehow, some way. So I welcome the new touch. And of course, being able to get a free 1,000 Chrono Crystals is always a good thing, because this time around, you actually get crystals every 10th stage instead of starting at stage 30, then 40, and then 50 to actually get the crystals. So that's not bad. But yeah, they definitely do need to find a way to revamp this. I still stand by saying that the events should be a lot more challenging, because we're at a point now where the AI is so easy to understand that you can be half asleep and get through all of the battles like kind of effortlessly. So I still stand by saying that we should probably get, hard mode difficulties for these events. Screen mode, we've had our very first despair difficulty. I forgot which event it was, but we finally had that. And even at that was kind of underwhelming. Like I still remember the days where I believe it was screen mode where the enemy was either a few hundred or a few thousand levels above the max. And I personally welcomed that, because I was like, okay, cool, this is challenging. Now it's just like, oh, they're the same level as me. Okay, I'm just gonna get through this real quick. So I don't know. I feel like there is a way for them to actually revamp this. They're trying to change it, as we see with the co-op iteration, but there still needs to be something more.
I mean, the problem is that you can also just, take your best Zenkai units with a type advantage and just put it on auto mode, and it'll still win. And that probably shows how it's not challenging. And to be honest, like at first I was like, oh, co-op. Now they combined the two most beloved modes of Dragon Ball Legends, PvE and co-op.
Yeah, personally, I think they could take a cue from their own game, like the way they revamped the rush mode. That mode was something that was notoriously obnoxious and a pain in the ass, and everyone hated doing it. And now, I'm not going to say it's like amazingly fun now, but they streamlined the progression of it much better than what it used to be.
Well,
go ahead.
All I'll say is you'll know a mode is bad when making it better is just making it shorter.
Yeah. I mean it is shorter, but it still maintains some of those challenging elements towards the final stages, right? But in the beginning, it just ramps up to get you to that higher difficulty much faster.
Yeah.
And I think that design for these types of events would be great. Because, like, obviously, these events exist because they cater to not only the long-term players, but the short-term players. So the short-term players can get to battle 26 or as far as they can possibly get and still feel accomplished, but all the long-term players just feel the pain of the slog, right? So
yeah, because it's been the same formula for like a year now or so, it's just so unbelievably boring to do it every single time.
well, yeah, like I said, the co-op edition was a nice touch, and maybe if they did that and then streamlined it down like the rush mode, and whatever, they keep the time gates on it if they feel like they absolutely have to, but just streamlining the event down off this 51 stage slog would be optimal for me.
Yeah, so one thing just that we probably have to keep in mind too as well is that I think Oresh used to say that it's only a small fraction of the player base who actually plays PvP. And I also just met someone who only plays PvE, and at first I was a little surprised, but yeah, these people, if they get like 10 stages and then it's done, they don't have a lot of stuff to do. And I'm guessing maybe the 50 battle stuff is also just so that those people are kind of kept busy, even though it's not really challenging. It's just kind of a grind.
I mean, we kind of go back to Nas, his point like a couple podcasts ago where it was like, let me skip to the final stage then. I'll risk it all. I'll put it all on black right now to say I can do like the last 5 stages or something if I really want to. Instead of that, because I do agree with like the first like 20. It's like, bro, I don't even know why I'm here. I'm here for Chrono Crystals. That's right. Like, I have to like remind myself why I'm doing some of the modes. But I don't know. PvE in this game is tough. It's really tough, and I actually do feel for the developers, because how do you make it fun? It's a PvP game, so like PvE does come secondary, or like it's trying to be a PvP game. Let's put it that way. And like it does come secondary with PvE. So I feel both sides.
I've said for a while now that they should probably come out with a new game mode, right? Because obviously our latest new game mode was co-op, but that was what, over a year ago now? So if they can come up with a new idea, I think they can breathe a bit new life into PvE, and of course, find ways to revamp the older events as well. But yeah, like right now, PvE it's too. I don't even know. And it sucks because, like, personally speaking, I actually really like PvE, but like I do know that they can make it better. And right now, they're a bit too complacent with how it is.
Well, yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, 100%. I think the main thing is they want you to look at the character animations, and we've all seen a lot of these animations for so long, and we're not bringing specific characters. So they'll have an event focused around a new character that dropped, like that's the boost unit, and it's like, well, maybe I want to check out some older animations, but they're not boost units, so I'm not using them. It's in this weird, I don't know, wishy-washy place right now. It's been here for quite a while.
I want them to port DBZ Card Warriors into Legends.
Can I just say, like, this event gave me an auto button in co-op, and if you could just push that into the real co-op, I'd be grateful.
I kind of actually agree. I just want my dual coins. I'm just here for dual coins. I'm not trying to have fun with this mode. Like,
yeah, I'm just gonna let that phone grind out auto clicker all night. Wait, who said that? All right, so I think we pretty much nailed it on the time. So we're gonna take a quick break, but before that, first off, I want to say thank you to Volusius for 100 bits. I hope I didn't miss anything else on the chat. And again, if you want your questions on the podcast, make sure to follow us over on Twitter at 59gaming1, and keep your eyes peeled for the Legends Podcast questions thread. Put your questions there, and then the day of the podcast, I will select a couple of them that are questions that are not just yes/no questions or pure speculation questions. And while we take the break, make sure to follow all our creators on our socials, on Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, and whatever else we all have. And we will be right back.
See you all in a second.
All right, welcome back. Hope you made the most out of your break. And now we are going to move over to your questions. And the first question of today comes from our buddy Mini Maxi. And he's asking, if there were heroes units to be introduced in the game, then which ones would be appropriate for the first banner, and what abilities would you like them to have? And I'm going to lead this question over to Goresh Black.
Hello, everyone. I am Goresh Black. Hello. So, if we're talking about heroes units, the very first ones I would absolutely see are Beat and Note. They make the complete sense. They're the two main, OCs of the game, if you will. Obviously, Beat would be Sun Family. He would also be Saiyan. Dang, actually, what? That's Sun Family, Saiyan. He can either be Super Saiyan 1 through 3, Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan Blue, and now Ultra Instinct as well. So, in terms of his abilities, I have no idea, because he would practically be like another Shallot. I don't know what exactly he'd be able to really bring. Apart from, if they make like a Heroes tag, maybe they can be like, he buffs Dragon Ball Heroes and buff Sun Family, or whatever the case may be. Note is not part of Sun Family, so she'd probably just buff maybe female warriors, Saiyans, heroes, or something along those lines. But if I were to pick a less obvious route, right, I'd probably want either Golden Cooler, Sealess, who else? Golden Cooler, Sealess. I would say maybe Kamioran, Hearts. There's too much. Oh, and of course the Limit Breaker Super Saiyan 4s as well.
I just want, the Super Saiyan 4 Zeno Goku.
Ooh, yeah, if they let off with the Limit Breaker Super Saiyan 4s to buff GT. Would it buff GT? Or just buff the hero?
Well, I was gonna agree with Indikuba. I didn't say with those two characters specifically, but if they were to introduce a Heroes collab, I think that they would definitely start with some more vanilla units, right? Like something
Super
earlier
Saiyan
in the
4
series. Like they're not just gonna lead with Super Saiyan 4, Ultra Instinct, Vegito, like Super Saiyan 4 Vegito types. They're not gonna lead with that. They would lead with something like, more introductory. So I think Indikuba is definitely on the right, like, core.
You mean, number one, you mean Gresh Black. And number two, I'm going to keep it 100. I had no idea that Beat was Sun Family, and I love everything about Dragon Ball. I've watched Heroes, but I had no idea.
Yeah, they confirmed.
Well, I don't want him in, so if he's going to be Sun Family, I'm good.
Oh yeah, they confirmed it in Super Dragon Ball Heroes World Mission that Beat is a descendant of Goku. So yeah, he would be Sun Family.
that's
I think it'd be highly more likely they would start there than with like Kanba or Cumber and Fu and stuff like that, right? Like,
Well, I think they could add Fu because I mean he's in Xenoverse too. You know what I mean? So and isn't he also like definitely in Dokkan as well? So
Yeah.
I think he'd be the easiest one to add. in
like
Legend.
if they were to do like Fu, he'd probably be like along with like Mira and Toa. You know what I mean? So
almost more of a Xenoverse collab than Heroes. at that
yeah,
point.
yeah. Although Cumber though, hey, look, if we get Cumber, I would be so happy. Yo, Cumber kind of clean.
Like a transforming unit where he's in the straight jacket and then busts out of it or something.
Yes, Cumber would be freaking amazing. And there's more characters too. Like I could
was
go
Cumber
on-
the first Dokkan Heroes?
Huh?
Was he the first Heroes in Dokkan? Was
No.
Cumber?
No.
How far back does Heroes go in Dokkan? I have no idea.
Like 2017.
Oh, okay, so it's been there for a hot minute. Never mind.
But it's mostly been relegated to just Dokkan JP. Global has not seen most, if
well, that's
almost
what they're
any.
seeing now, right? They have like Bardock and Broly. Was that what it was?
I don't. That's a
Super Saiyan
question
4s?
for Garesh or for one of the Dokkan JP players.
What was the
I don't know,
question?
either way, whatever. No, who's coming out now? Isn't Heroes coming to Global?
Oh yeah, a bunch of Super Saiyan 4 units. So
Yeah.
Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta,
That sounds
Broly,
amazing.
Gohan, and Bardock, and then like Zeno Deborah and Darkness. No, what's her name? Demon Goddess Toa.
Oh, Demon Goddess Toa. Yeah.
It's really sad to
man.
say, but Legends needs Heroes for a Super Saiyan 4 tag to ever be like fully viable. Like, yeah, they could be viable as it stands, but it's just going to be nothing but Goku, Vegeta, and Gogeta. It would be and multiple versions of them, right? But if they introduce Heroes, then a Super Saiyan 4 tag like that would actually be viable, and it would be so awesome too. I mean, I would
I
so
think
much rather
Professor
see
wants
that.
to say
than-
something.
What?
What?
Prof, right? You wanted to say something? I read it in chat.
Oh yeah, Super Saiyan God Trunks 2020.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say that too.
Super
Yeah.
Saiyan 4 Broly, please. Thank you.
Yes,
Yeah, I
agreed,
just want to see the
Broly.
Super
More
Saiyan
Broly,
4
please.
team with more than just Goku and Vegeta and Gogeta on it for Legends.
Yeah, like there's so much variety, and even if they did add like Heroes iterations of Super Saiyan 4 characters, like in Heroes, my favorite Super Saiyan 4 iteration right now was it Xeno Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, just because I like Atomic Kamehameha. I think it's really clean, right? But apart from that, you also have Super Saiyan 4 Broly, who's absolutely insane. You have Super Saiyan 4 Bardock, Super Saiyan 4 Gohan, et cetera, et cetera. So there's like plenty of characters that they could bring from Heroes, put that in Legends, and make like a viable Super Saiyan 4 like tag, just period. It could, I'm calling it right now. If they ever did that, Super Saiyan 4 would be an absolute meta team, hands down.
If
'Cause-
they did that, every tag would be like dumb broken. Like golden middle cooler for LOE, Super Saiyan 4 Broly for like Super Saiyan 4s. It would be so crazy. Like
I kind of want every tag to be broken though. I kind of want that. Like every tag should be straight up busted. Want to have an even gate because some of them are just leagues above others. Like it's not even some tags are straight up like C tier, and other ones are straight up Z tier.
movies.
I mean,
Yeah.
I'm thinking more along the lines of like Dragon Ball, like the origins of
oh
all
my
Dragon
God.
Ball.
What do you mean,
It's
best
just like-
team?
I mean,
Or
yeah,
Super Warriors, yeah.
yeah. Well, I mean, it's Super Warriors. Actually, I got bodied by a kid who had like 12 stars Super Warriors. Like those three together, if they're high stars, they put in the work, but they got to be really high stars, like not 4 and 5.
All right, I think it's time to move over to the next question. Now that we've heard most people's opinions, the next question is from Archit Sahai, and they're asking, "How do you guys feel about the new the Extreme Unit event revamps?" And then it goes on to give their take, saying, "I feel great about those since it basically makes never used Extreme Units usable and free chronos. Although I do see people complaining about getting these revamps. I don't know why. And yeah, I guess we talked a bit about it, but do you want to give any additional thoughts?"
I mean, I think we all said what we wanted. They're all welcome. We're happy that they're there. I myself, I only said it'd be great if the cost was maybe a little bit less, since it's one thing to get the power to Zenkai them, but it's another thing to fully soul boost them. So I don't know. There's that. But I guess maybe that's where all the complaints are stemming from, just the resource cost, because skip and energy tickets are pretty hard to come by.
I really like these units. I think if they keep drip feeding these, every other month we get another one, they should just have a dedicated section in the game to go hunt these units down and complete them. And then players, when they pick up the game, can kind of go, okay, I want to run an X team. And then they go, okay, so here's the EX units I can go get for this units right now, right? I see that as the future if they're going to keep all these units permanent. And I think that'd be really fun.
My only complaints with units like these stem back to what we talked about earlier, where PvE is just kind of boring in nature. But the fact that it's free, it's available, it doesn't have a seemingly end date placed on it, and it doesn't do anything but benefit players. I mean, that's it. Like, it's good. It's a good event. The more, the merrier. It's much better to do EX units this way than summoning for them like Sparkings. So I want to give them a huge pat on the back like that. I originally thought that the EX units, when they Zenkai'd, would be identical to Sparkings, but just a cheaper format, like 100 to multi instead of 300, right? But no, they've done it for free so far, entirely for free. So they definitely get a bunch of kudos for that. I have nothing bad to say about the formatting other than PvE is boring. And yeah,
right.
the resources are high, but other than that, it's good to go.
So are we? No, I'm kidding. Also, I guess we can move on to the next question, since we pretty much talked about it before. And the next question is from Mist. It's kind of a two-part question. Will you guys be reacting to the video and stuff? Yes. It'll be at 8 a.m. Eastern time on Tuesday.
Yep.
And the second part of the question is it's over on YouTube.
Yeah, we're gonna do that on YouTube, everybody, just because I don't know, it's on YouTube. The audience for that would be huge on YouTube. Like the last one we did was amazing on YouTube. So all of you, hopefully, that are not Twitch only, will join us on YouTube for that stream.
Exactly. And the second part of the question is, do you think they will reveal the big unit for Black Friday or keep it hidden until it's close to its release?
They're gonna reveal it, I'm pretty sure. Well,
At
I
least
think they're gonna
one of
reveal
them, right? They might not reveal their whole hand, but go ahead, VG.
Gogeta Blue coming. That's what everybody wants. Like, it's
This time for sure.
Yeah. Do not get your hopes up for Gogeta Blue, please. Where I'll begin. It's annoying now.
I'm surprised they haven't disabled the chat during those.
No, I mean, it's like a poll system. They count every single time you type in Gogeta Blue in their chat during the podcast, and it helps their decision making.
Well, every time somebody asks for Gogeta Blue, it gets delayed by another day.
Right. I mean, realistically, if they were gonna do him, don't you think they would wait for the anniversary of the Broly movie when they bring back the DBS banners like they have
Probably
so far? Like, I don't think Black Friday is gonna be Gogeta Blue.
I
If I had to wager any money, like the only thing left that they have left to do is Dragon Ball Super Endgame stuff. Be it the end of the Goku Black arc, some more Tournament of Power stuff. Like, that's really all the game has left that they've almost not touched at all, right? I mean, we got some of the early
they
stuff.
haven't touched on.
Copy Vegeta.
Oh yeah, and that might drag. But I'm considering stuff that would be hype enough for a celebration that would sell well. Like, yes, we still need Dragon Ball stuff. Yes, we still need like more female warrior love, like a bunch of other tags that need support. But in terms of what you have to cross consider what would sell super well, and then also what they haven't already done. That's the two things that I take
what
into
I would say.
consideration.
Gogeta Blue and transforming full power Broly, bro. Like, for December. You heard it here first.
Yeah.
That banner would sell like, that would be so good.
What about transforming Garlic Jr.?
I would love that because he never gets any love.
Yeah, for
He would be for Legends Road.
Like, he would have a legendary finish Dead Zone, and it would look so cool.
Nah, I don't think they would give Garlic Jr. a legendary finish. I don't know about that.
Well, if he was like Legends Limited, he would have to have one, right?
Yeah, you're not wrong. He would have to if he was like.
Imagine, look, my boy Garlic Jr. needs some love, right? They give him a transforming unit. He's Legends Limited. And say all of your enemies' health is under 20% when you do his ult, it just sucks all of them into the dead zone. You just win.
That'd be so dumb.
I would love that. Because he's got to
At that
compete with
point-
Zenkai's, right? So
At that point, they might as well just give the red Pycon an LF too.
Pycon needs more than an LF to be good. Like, he needs more than that. Like, he needs Zenkai on top of some extra buffs too. Like
Vsauce in the chat asks, "Is Garlic Jr. movie or anime original?" And the answer to that question is movies, because he was in the what was it?
he was in the anime too.
He
as
was in the
well.
anime too. They probably
Yeah,
snatched
from
the
He
Yeah,
was,
anime
but
one.
that was
dude.
like OVA filler material. But he actually had a movie dedicated to him.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, but it
I
depends
mean,
on which one
last
you
time-
pick.
I went to see Bardock in theaters, and he's anime originals. So I don't know, bro.
Ay, ay, ay. All right, I think it's time for the next question, and that one comes from Zorik McLeod, asking, considering the release of Metal Cooler and Super Saiyan Vegeta being LOE and Saiyans, what do you think would be the most likely tag to get it next? I think Legends Road or Super Warriors could use a boost.
LOE again. Because Metal Core pretty much did 0.
Yeah, they need a tank. Like they need full power freezer on steroids. Like
I'm telling you, red Zenkai not cooler. Yeah, Zenkai Metal Cooler.
yeah.
He'll eat the hits. He'll regen it off. He'll go right on your movies team. There's already a regenerating red cell to make him double boost if you want to make a crazy regen team.
I'm just gonna say, the fact that he's regen means that if he doesn't have endurance, he's not gonna be tanking anything.
Oh yeah, 100%. But
I think this question brings up a bigger underlying issue, which is like, because this dude, he specifically mentions Legends Order Super Warriors, and that's just that the game needs newer and more free to play event units. Like, wasn't the Kakarot unit like the last one that we've gotten?
Yeah.
It's been forever.
They need more of those. They need, because Kakarot Goku was actually really good when he first dropped. Like he was on every Goku Sun Family team. Like it was a really good addition. And then he just died off, and then they just said, "Nah, no more free to play units."
I think
Okay.
their current philosophy of free to play units is more so just, let's just Zenkai the existing ones instead of making new ones, which is really stupid. I wish they would just go back to making new ones, because it at least gives you more options.
Yeah, and it gives you something somewhat new to do, because usually they would introduce at least one new formatting mechanic with some of the different events as they would show up. It also brings up another interesting point, is like, I wonder how they're going to approach Zenkai units that are like the free-to-play 21 and the Kakarot Goku. Like, are they going to do it co-op style like Legends Road? Are they going to be paid Zenkais? Is there going to be another type of formatted event to Zenkai them? And then the Rising Battle units as well. Like, A, we could use another Rising Battle unit any day now. It'd be great. And 2, how are they going to end up Zenkaiing them? What's the format for that going to look like?
I would expect it to be the same as the EX units, honestly. Just gonna have little stage you do every day. It's gonna be up for a limited amount of time, probably, because they're event units, not like the EX ones, and that's gonna be the real catch, is that you got to get them while they're up.
Yeah, they could do it like the EX units, or they could lean them more towards like Legends Rising, where you have to do some co-op battle a billion times. I don't know.
I feel like they're with Legends Road units right now, that they might get to a point where they'll just have a constant rotation in co-op, or maybe even just one resource that you exchange for tickets in co-op, and then that'll just be the place that you can pick up the Legends Road units, and then they'll just keep this EX format going. And I have no idea. I expect when like 21's event comes out, it'll be the same map and everything. They'll just add a couple extra stages branching off that you'll get her Zenkai material.
Alrighty, I think we can move on. And the next question is from Shan, asking, Legends throwing out a lot of events in Zenkais. How much do you guys enjoy creating contents on Legends now compared to your experience at the beginning of Legends? And what is the state of Legends in your opinion?
It's nowhere near as much. That's a very loaded question, number one. But
Yeah,
it's nowhere near as much fun, because it just feels like half the matches I either get like DC'd on, or people DC in the middle of the match, and I'm like, well, I can't use that now. Like,
yep.
So
It's harder to
content wise,
make-
it's not that much fun. Like,
It's harder to make like fun teams to make videos on, because right now you just get hit once and your whole team's dead. So it's like
straight up,
it is
yeah.
so hard to use old units.
Bro, I tried the Green Scouter Vegeta the other day, and I was
Oh
like,
my
yeah.
god.
Yeah, no, I'm just gonna make another video on Cooler. It's like, never mind.
I think that's the biggest. That's probably the biggest change we noticed. Like back then, nobody died so early, but now it's just a single mistake and you lose someone. So it's not as fun because you play PvP to enjoy it. But there's nothing really fun about one mistake and you lose. To be honest,
Yeah,
you could do everything. You could do everything right, throughout majority of the game, and it really just takes that one mistake for you to lose. All you got to get is unlucky on a Rising Rush guess and one PV, and you probably lost.
It's a very easy answer for me. Anyone who follows or subscribes to me on YouTube will see that I have not uploaded a video in a month. I've been focusing 5-9 gaming. I'm having a lot more fun over here with all these guys working on this stuff. Even though I still play the game, follow it, and stay up to date on it, it's pretty easy to see that my lack of content on my channel answers this question without a whole lot of words behind it.
Yeah, I think we're pretty much all in the same boat here. It's just, I kind of just do it because it's sort of like the routine that I have at this point, not because I actually want to.
But YouTube has bound you to it for now.
Well, there's definitely times I do enjoy it. I don't want people to think that, like, there's definitely times I have a good time recording. Like, if I'm using a unit that's, like, decent and I kind of work with it a little bit and I get a little lucky and it's like, all right, definitely have a good time. But it just doesn't feel the same as it did, like, the first year was amazing.
Yeah.
Up until Vegeta, it was genuinely fun to sit down and, like,
Yeah, we
pump
were all
out.
discovering new things, like teching out different aspects
Yeah.
of the game.
New
Now it's just
mechanics.
a
amazing.
rotation of these are the new units that come out, and we're going
Make
to
a video.
Yeah, make a video on
And
just the new units.
that's
I can't
it.
afford to keep
That's
up
it.
with that personally. So
I think a lot of the issue comes from the battle system, and I have said this for so long. Like, this battle system is just so badly designed, and there's nothing fun about it at all. And I said this literally when it came out. I was like, this is like one of their biggest mistakes ever. And this has been the most stagnant like battle system we've had for a long time. Because when did they update it last? And it was like in
Year ago?
yeah, it
No,
was
actually, it was when Kefla and Gotenks were out. When
yeah,
they
but it
updated
wasn't. Yeah, but the changes they made weren't like game breaking, right? It was
Yeah.
like the same.
It was combo
bullshit, basically.
compensation, which didn't do anything at all. So
Yeah,
It was last year when we got the weird tackle change where
Yeah.
they removed tackles.
yeah,
Jesus.
that is the change I'm talking about. Like, that was the bigger change. I think, was that the 2.0?
yeah,
I think
yeah,
2.1.
it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
They did at one point. They made the tackle long range, and they removed the tap tackle clash, which makes me rage to this day in my stream. My
Yeah,
viewers know
everything
what's
about
up.
tackle is just a mistake.
yeah, and by
they
no
might
means
as well
what I
remove it.
said by my lack of content. I'm not quitting the game. They have tons of ways that they can reverse this and just bring it right back. It's just, are they going to put the time into that, or are they just going to keep deving out new units to throw on banners? Like, hopefully they announce some pretty hype stuff. Again, we're plugging our reaction to the video and stuff. Hopefully they announce some pretty hype stuff. They said they had a really big announcement at the end. I hope it's not just a character, but like others had mentioned earlier, like new game mode or just different ways to play the game and enjoy it. So, I mean, they have plenty of potential and room and time to reverse things. It's just right now the game is kind of boring for me personally.
All right.
I don't think it's just you. I don't think it's just you.
No, I can only speak for myself, though.
Fair enough. All right. Our next question is from Luciferio Kus. With the release of the new Cooler and Vegeta, they introduced a new form, sort of Zenkai's Z ability. I guess we started to talk about this a little bit. Do you think this is their new way of power creeping Z abilities going forward?
I
Yes.
think Goresh nailed it on the head when he just said this is their way of trying to have new units somewhat able to keep up with Zenkai abilities, right?
Yeah.
Well, you're going to stack this with the Zenkai abilities, though. This is just straight power creep.
hmm
That too, but it's just keeping a new unit, somewhat on par as it releases. Like,
I see.
you could definitely stack this with Zenkai as well for extra edge, but power creep would be a great way to describe this. But yeah, it's just trying to keep the ante moving up and up and up and up.
Yep, it's just pure power creep. That's all there is to it.
Yeah, I think we all kind of agree on that. So we can move on to the next one. And the name of the original poster fits the question. The name is Zenkai's. Would you guys be okay with the strength of these the Zenkai units if they weren't released so often?
I think
Yeah.
you know what? I think I made a tweet about this. It was apparently a little controversial for whatever reason, but I feel like the first wave of Zenkai units that came out, minus Beerus, were okay. I would have preferred if they stuck to that, mainly because they were not meta defining. It felt more like they blended in with the meta because they sort of made their way into the teams that already people were comfortable using. Like if you look at the tier list now, the best units in the game were Zenkai. I preferred the first generation of Zenkais, but they just fit in there. They didn't define it, they didn't make it, they were just part of it. I preferred that. And it also goes with their whole like power creep feedback loop where Zenkais compete with the best units then compete with the Zenkais, and you get an exponential rate of power creep. I feel like that's what we're dealing with now. That's why I feel like if they wiped that all back and we went to the first gen Zenkais and they stuck to that, I think the game would have been in a much better spot.
I agree. I just think them constantly trying to one up the previous like top dog is just not the way to go. Like they brought out LF Gohan and they're like, do we make him better than Vegeta Blue? And then I guess somebody decided that they would, and now we're in this mess where it's just like, okay, well now we need units to keep up with Gohan, and it just constantly feeds into itself, and it's just a never-ending cycle of just like torment. And
this might be somewhat of a controversial statement, but I feel like at the root core of all of that is the color system in this game. Like, if they just got rid of the color system and all characters were inherently neutral with one another, but still had their kits and their associated buffs, it wouldn't be anywhere nearly as bad as it is now.
The color wheel is the staple of all gachas.
I know it is, but it's also not conducive to, like, a Xenoverse or, God forbid, a Dragon Ball FighterZ type fighting game. Like, there's no room for that in a competitive fighting game. And I know gacha, this and that, the whales have the advantage, yes. But just having a character just inherently better than another character just because of a color matchup, and then all the design implements they do for having one type counter another type, like the whole design of their power creep would have been different if there was no color system.
The thing is well, actually, Prof, you're already making a thought, so I'll let you go ahead.
Oh, I'll make it really quick, and then we'll go to you. That is inherently by design, though. Like what you guys are complaining about, this unit eats this unit eats this unit. It's them poisoning the game, then selling you a cure that is actually the next poison. It will endlessly repeat the cycle.
Right, but it's also
design.
self-destructive because then you get too drugged up with all your different poisons and antidotes and you die.
Yeah, then the new game drops.
So that's
for Eden?
You know, we could get into like an hour-long debate about like the philosophy of this game design, but like, yeah, I don't. It's
right.
Yeah,
You wanted
the
to?
philosophy of this game design is bad. That's it.
Yeah, just a final thought is I think the big issue is the developer's viewpoint of this game and the player base's viewpoint are both completely different. We're trying to see it as a competitive game where skill should define how the matches go, but I think the developers see it more as this is casual, and we don't want it to be super skill based driven. Hence why you see so many RNG mechanics in the game. So I think there's a huge divide between what they're seeing and what we're seeing, and that's part of the problem.
I agree with that. To them, it's just more of a collection game with some softcore fighting mechanics, not a fighting game.
Well,
That's just them not being in tune with their consumers.
Yeah, there's definitely disjunction between what they're looking at and what we're looking at.
Oh yeah, I definitely put that on them because if their idea is, okay, we want this to stay casual, you can't just go to Las Vegas and host a tournament and expect people to think that you're trying to keep this casual. Yeah. Like if you're trying to make it competitive, stick to that and try to maintain balance so it makes sense. I know you got to make your money, but at the same time, you can't just go crazy. Otherwise, people are going to be alienated from the game. But at the same time, don't make it so ridiculously casual that RNG is going to be the defining, outcome of the match. Mm-hmm. I don't know. It's just they need to really get on board with what people are looking for in the game. There's just two entirely different viewpoints right now.
Yeah, like again, we could spend literally like an hour talking about this and what they could do, just like washing the game to neutralize all the characters with each other, and then I don't know. But at that point, it would transform into like a whole different game. And someone, not only in the chat, Ryuden, but someone in the actual text chat mentioned that Vegas tournament as well. I do believe that's why there hasn't been another one of those since then. Because that was all in like the golden age of Legends where skill and the way you actually played the game was like, other than Rising Rush, that was 100% how the matches were determined. And then Super Vegeta came out. And ever since then, they have not even mentioned doing those tournaments. There's no, like, they did that just to put eyes on the game, not to establish it as a competitive game. Now that that's over with, and it's nowhere near realistic to host a tournament like that anymore because the game's not competitive, we haven't heard about them doing that in almost like 2 years now since then. So.
Can you imagine all neutral characters with LF Gohan? How would you even deal with that?
Well,
I mean, do blues really even affect him? To be honest with you, like,
Yeah.
you just
I feel like if
like
it's,
Vegeta blue and stuff does, I guess, but it's not like he's that one unit to me at least that I just can't take his ass down, no matter how good my blue unit is hitting him. Like he just stays alive, especially if a Goku died, I'm out. Like I lost. I don't know if it would matter.
I don't think that just removing the color system now retroactively would be good. Like you said, like the problems exist because it was there in the first place and they designed the game around it. Like if it was never there and the game was designed around, like, imagine like Xenoverse where there's like 50 different characters you could play as. None of them inherently has an advantage over one another just by typing and design, and they're all balanced that way, as opposed to the whole game being built around advantages, disadvantages, and RNG. Like it's something that would be really hard for them to change this late in the game.
All right, I think those are our closing words, and that concludes the questions and the podcast. Again, make sure that you check out our YouTube channel, follow us over there, subscribe over at YouTube, because we're going to do the video and stuff live reaction on Tuesday at 8 a.m. EST. So basically when that video drops, we're going to be there and we're going to react. So join us there. Make sure to follow all our content creators on their Twitter, their Twitch, their YouTubes, and whatever else they have, Facebook, Reddit, all the good stuff. And support our channel. If you have Amazon Prime, you can connect that to your Twitch account and you can subscribe to us for free.
It's not a crime. Oh, sorry, I had to jump in there.
Exactly. Twitch Prime is not a crime. And with that, I want to say thank you to all our creators that were on the podcast today. Bradical, Goresh, Nazdorachi, Ndukuba, Professor Sensei, Ryuden, and first time today, ZVG. With that, we're signing off. We hope that you're all safe. Have a good rest of your day. And we will see you on Tuesday or maybe tomorrow on the Genshin podcast. Bye,
and
everybody.
before we actually close out, again, thank you to V. Lucius for some more bits. I think he donated somewhere near like 300 to 400, and Dondre gave us some bits as well. So thank you to y'all. And the audio file will be going up to the podcast services for this. So if you're one of the exercise or more proactive working people that can't watch it, we'll have audio version up, and it will be premiering on YouTube. I don't know if Pom just mentioned that or not, but we will sign off and see y'all next time. Peace
Bye,
out,
guys.
everybody.
See ya.
Later.